Good Yontif.
Good Yontif.
No matter where you are this morning, whether you are here in the room with us or whether you are somewhere out there in your own mikdash ma'at, your own small sanctuary that you have created for yourself, we are all on this journey together that began last night and continues until sunset tonight as we dig deep inside ourselves on this journey of teshuvah, of looking inwards to find those parts of ourselves that we are ready to examine, ready to think about, ready to grow, and perhaps ready to change. And it's not an easy journey to admit to ourselves that there are things about ourselves that we do indeed need to change. But today is the day for that discomfort. So there will be many times today where we ask you to stand, sometimes for long periods of time. And many of you are fasting, which means that you might be feeling a little woozy. And the goal today is to feel that discomfort. The goal is not to be in pain. So find yourself that balance today as we go throughout the day of pushing yourself a little bit past what feels comfortable, but not so far that you are in pain. If you are dehydrated, drink. Dehydration is not the fast that God wants of you, or the fast that we want of you, or the fast that you should want for yourself. So find that balance for yourself today of pushing, but not to the point of sickness or pain. That goes for all of you at home too, curled up on your couches, maybe in your Afghan, maybe in your slippers or your bathrobe, whatever it is, enjoy it. Enjoy being home and experiencing Yom Kippur from the comfort of your home, but don't get too comfortable. Allow yourself to feel some discomfort too, whether it's by standing up for longer than you want to, whether it's by avoiding the temptation of the kitchen that's just a couple feet away. I don't know how you're going to make it through the day. That would be so hard for me. But find a way to experience a little bit of the discomfort of Yom Kippur, even if you're home or if you're here, wherever you are. Those of you who are here, I want to remind you of our very important protocols for this morning. Please make sure that your mask is over all the way from your chin to your nose. Last night we saw a couple noses start to slip out. I know it's hard. If you need a break, please feel free to go outside, get a breath of fresh air, and then come on back in. We'll be here ready for you. If you all have some hand sanitizer, use copious amounts. Never too much hand sanitizer when you are in person during a pandemic. If you need to use the restroom, you may do so one at a time, and there are markers, 6-foot markers, so that you can easily stay socially distanced, and the bathrooms will be sanitized between each use. And lastly, we are asking you all to try your best to maintain 6 feet or more of distance between anyone who is not in your household, which means that the schmoozing, which is what makes us who we are, is something we need to be careful about. So please, on your way out, if you've got a schmooze, do it from 8 feet away, or wait until you get home and text each other, and then you can talk all about what the rabbi was wearing or whatever it is that you want to talk about after services. No, you're not going to do that today because it's Yom Kippur. There we go. So wherever it is that we are on our journey today, let's remember our protocols. Let's remember what we're supposed to be doing, why we're supposed to be doing it, and most of all, let's be on this journey together. We want to thank our president of our board, Julie Heimovich, for being here with us today on the Bima. We want to thank all of you who are here, no matter how it is you came to be. Let's turn together to page 176.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב יאמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם וינשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לילה ולילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה Damiran me'alma v'imeru. Amen.
Let's turn to page 178 and stand for the Baruch Hu.
Barechu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hapoteach lanu sha'arei rachamim, umeir einei hamchakim lislichato, yotzer or uvorei choshech, oseh shalom uvorei et hakol.
Or olam yotzar chaim orot meyofel amar vayehi.
Hameir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha barachamim, uvtuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reishit. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam b'chochma asita, mal'ah ha'aretz kinyanecha, titbarach Adonai Eloheinu al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al me'orei or sha'asita yifa arucha selah.
Or chadash al Zion ta'ir v'nizkechu lanu meira leoro. Baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'meorot.
Amen. Page 186.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malachuto Leolam Vaed.
Let's be seated as we turn to page 188.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha ayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך ובביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטודפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Israel entered the Red Sea singing, and when they sang Michamocha the first time, the water came up to their ankles. As the song continued, the water rose further, washing over their heads. This time, the word chamocha came out as kamocha, because you can't say cha when your mouth is full of water. Only when they were in over their heads did God divide the sea. This morning, may we keep our heads above water as we recount this past year. The weight we carry lifts as we forgive and are forgiven for our lesser moments. Our renewed soul is buoyant. Our mouths fill with words of praise. Let's sing together, Mi Chamocha, page 196.
Mi Chamocha, Ba'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha, Nedar B'Kodesh, Nora Tehilot, Osef Eleh, Shira Chadasha, Shebechugei Olim Leshimcha, Al Sefat Hayam, Yachad Kulam Hodu, Vehimlichu Ve'ameru, Adonai Himloch Le'olam Va'ed. Sur Yisrael Kuma Be'ezrat Yisrael, Uvedeichenu Mecha Yehuda Ve'Yisrael, Go Aleinu Adonai Tzavaot Shemo Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch Ata Adonai Gal Yisrael.
Amen. Let's turn to page 198 and stand for the Amidah.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Adonai Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Ahi Kehilah Kedoshah. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu Ve'imoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניכם למען שמו פי מושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך שמו
Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah. Ata Gibor Leolam Adonai Bechaye HaKol Ata Harav Lehoshia Morid Hatal Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed Bechaye HaKol Verachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Ferof Echolim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Mishenei Afar Bichamocha Bal Gevurot Umitrom Elav Melech Merit Umechayek Umatzmiach Yeshua ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, בחיי הכל.
Page 208, and please be seated. V'chein l'cha ta'aleh Kedoshah, our sovereign, God of pardon and forgiveness, let these words of sanctity ascend to you.
ונתן תוקף קדושת היום, כי הוא נורא והיום, ובוא תנשא מלכותך, וייכון בחסד כיסאך, ותשב עליו באמת, ותשב עליו באמת.
Together, let us proclaim the sacred power of this day, a day whose holiness awakens deepest awe and inspires highest praise for your dominion. For your throne is a throne of love. Your reign is a reign of truth. In truth, you are judge and plaintiff, counselor and witness. You inscribe and seal. You record and recount. You remember all that we have forgotten. And when you open the book of memories, it speaks for itself. For every human hand leaves its mark, an imprint like no other.
ושופר גדול ייתקע. ושופר גדול ייתקע. וקול דממה דקה יישמע.
12, we read the words first chanted, Rosh Hashanah Yikatevu Yom Tzim Kippur Yechatemun, that on Rosh Hashanah, the book of life, this symbolic book, volume that God has prepared and God sustains and looks at and considers, is opened on Rosh Hashanah and sealed, Yechatemun, on Yom Kippur. As I mentioned last week, and want to say again, I give everyone permission to be very ambivalent about these words. I'm typically ambivalent about this prayer, to be quite honest. I find it challenging. It doesn't necessarily fit in with my theology. But what it does do is force me, and I hope it will, as Rabbi Mason Barkin so eloquently put it, makes you a little uncomfortable. Human destiny is something that is both in the realm of God, but also within our own hands. And I believe this prayer ultimately is teaching us about choices. Not necessarily who will live and who will die, but who will live and who will live a living death. Who will embrace the fires of hatred and who will not? Who will be flooded and overwhelmed by life itself, and who will manage to eke out some semblance of ballast? So let's look at these words literally, but also metaphorically on this Shabbat Shabbaton, on the Sabbath of Sabbaths, as we consider that we are active participants with God in not only opening the book of our lives, for they are our lives after all, but also in the choices that we made that lead to ultimate sealing, if you will, of what our fates and what our lives may look like in the year to come. And that's where the symbolic, or at least metaphoric, words should jump off the page. So again, you have permission to do whatever you need to do with this prayer this year, but we say it because we're Jews, and it's tradition. And then we struggle with it, and we'll say it again next year, God willing, all of us together. Page 212.
Rosh Hashanah, Yikatevu, Tzom Kippur, Yechatemun, Berosh Hashanah, Yikatemun, Tzom Kippur, Yechatemun, Kama yavrun vechama yibareyun, mi yichye u'mi yamut, berosh Hashanah, Yikatevu, Tzom Kippur, Yechatemun, berosh Hashanah, Yikatevu, Tzom Kippur, Yechatemun, mi yanuach u'mi yanuach, mi yashchit u'mi yetoraf, mi yeshalof u'mi yityaser, mi yani u'mi yashir, mi yushpal u'mi yamut, berosh Hashanah, Yikatevu, Tzom Kippur, Yechatemun, berosh Hashanah, Yikatevu, Tzom Kippur, Yechatemun. תפילה וצדקה מעבירים את רוע הגזירה.
Together we stand for the Kedushah, page 218.
נקדש את שמך בעולם. נקדש את שמך בעולם. כשם שמקדישים אותו, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום. ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה, וקרא זה אל זה, ואמר קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. netzachim, kedushatcha naqdish, Baruch atah Adonai, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo, Hamelech, Hamelech, Hamelech HaKadosh.
Please remain standing for the priestly blessing, page 244.
Our God, divine presence whose path our ancestors walked, bless us now with the words first bestowed on Israel in the time of Moses and Aaron, the threefold blessing given us through Torah that joins our hopes with theirs.
Yevarechecha
Yevarechecha
Adonai
Adonai
ve'yishmerecha.
ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and protect you.
Yair
Yair
Adonai
Adonai
Panav
Anav
Elecha
Elecha
Vichuneka.
ve'yichuneka.
May you receive the light of God's kindness and grace.
Isa
Isa
Adonai
Adonai
Panav
Anav
Elecha
Elecha
Ve'yasem
ve'yasem
Lecha
lecha
Shalom.
shalom.
May God bestow favor upon you and give you peace. May it be so.
Please be seated. Oh my God, my soul's companion, my heart's precious friend, I turn to you. I need to close out the noise, to rise above the noise that interrupts, the noise that separates, the noise that isolates. I need to hear you again. In our silence, and in the silence of our intentional beings, in the fragments of our yearn for wholeness, we hear whispers of the divine presence, echoes of the past when you, O God, were with us, when we felt your nearness, when together we walked, when you, O God, held us close and embraced us in your love, laughed with us in our joy, and so we yearn to hear you again. In your oneness, I find healing. In the promise of your love, I am soothed. In your wholeness, I too can become whole again. Please listen to my call. Help me find the words. Help me find the strength within. Help me shape my mouth, my voice, my heart, so that I can direct my spirit and find you in prayer, in words only my heart can speak, in songs only my soul can sing, lifting my eyes and my heart to you. Adonai, during this moment of silent meditation, open our hearts and our mouths, precious God, so that we can speak together once again. With gratitude to Rabbi Sheldon Zimmerman, a prayer for prayer, let's take this moment for our own silent prayers and meditations.
This is an original setting of Sim Shalom that I composed. From me to you, may this new year be full of peace.
I love my cantor and my rabbi. I get great sermons. We get original pieces of music that are gorgeous. You're very lucky to have them. Let's all continue now with the second recitation of Avina Malcano of this day of Yom Kippur, page 252. Please stand as we open the Aron HaKodesh. Cantor will chant each line in Hebrew, and then we will join together for the English responsively.
Avinu Malcano Shema Kolenu.
Avinu Malcano, Almighty and merciful, hear our voice.
Avinu Malcano Chatanu Lefanecha.
Avinu Malcano, we have strayed and sinned before you.
Avinu Malkeinu chamol aleinu ve'alol aleinu v'tapenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our families.
Avinu Malkeinu kal eder v'cherev v'rav me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, halt the onslaught of sickness, violence, and hunger.
Avinu Malkeinu kale kol et saru mastin me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain and terror.
Avinu Malkeinu kodvenu b'sever chaim tovim.
Avinu Malkeinu, enter our names in the book of lives well lived.
Avinu Malkeinu chadesh aleinu shana tova.
Avinu Malkeinu, renew for us a year of goodness.
Avinu Malkeinu malei yadeinu mibirchotecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, let our hands overflow with your blessings.
Avinu Malkeinu harem keren meshichecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, let our eyes behold the dawn of redemption.
Avinu Malkeinu na'al teshivenu reikam milfanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, we pray, do not turn us away from you with nothing.
Avinu Malkeinu kabel berachamim uvratzon tefilateinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, welcome our prayer with love, accept and embrace it.
Avinu Malkeinu aseh imanu leman shemecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, act toward us as befits your name.
Avinu Malkeinu aseh leman chaim lo lemanenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, act for your sake, if not for ours.
Avinu Malkeinu in lanu melech eleata.
Avinu Malkeinu, you alone are our sovereign.
Avinu Malkeinu petach sha'arei shamayim litvilateinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, let the gates of heaven be open to our prayer.
Avinu Malkeinu shema koleinu chus v'rachem aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, hear our voice, treat us with tender compassion.
Avinu Malkeinu chonenu v'aneinu ki ein banu masim. Aseh imanu tzedakah v'chesed v'hoshienu.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace, for our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love.
We join together. Avinu Malkeinu, chonenu v'aneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, chonenu v'aneinu, ki ein banu masim. Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed, v'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, chonenu v'aneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, chonenu v'aneinu, ki ein banu masim.
We continue now with Seder Kriyat Torah, the service for the reading of Torah, which can be found on page 255 in your Machzorim.
Ein kamocha Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kemaasecha. Malechutecha malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai himloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai os le'amo yitein, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Av harachamim, heitiv avirtzonecha et Zion. Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, ki ניצחנו, מלך אל רם ונישא, אדון עולמים.
Adonai, Adonai, God, compassionate, gracious, endlessly patient, loving, and true, showing mercy to the 1,000th generation, forgiving evil, defiance, and wrongdoing, and granting pardon.
Adonai, Adonai, Rachum v'chanun, erech apayim v'rav chesed v'emet, notzer chesed lalafim, nosei avon v'fesha, v'chata v'nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, Rachum v'chanun, erech apayim v'rav chesed v'emet, notzer chesed lalafim, nosei avon v'fesha, v'chata v'nakeh. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh v'nocha Shemo, Gadol Adonai iti, uneromema Shemo yachtav, Lecha Adonai hagedula, ve'agvura, ve'atiferet, ve'hanetzach, ve'hahod, ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz, ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz, Lecha Adonai המלאכה והמקדשי לכל לחוש.
Smells like Lysol. You may be seated. Whew, very sterile. Good Yontif. So when my husband and I were first moving in together, we helped each other to pack up our apartments. I sat on the floor of his bedroom, sorting the trash from the keepsakes. I picked something up. It was a movie stub or a playbill or maybe a conference lanyard. You want me to pitch this? I asked. No, put it in my memory box, he said, pointing to a tattered cardboard box in the corner. Well, of course, I peeked inside. Some of the contents were expected, like tickets from a show that we'd seen or cards from his bubby, school acceptance letters. And some was trash, like crumpled newspaper articles and old homework assignments. But some of it was unexpected. Did he really still need these mementos from past relationships? I looked at him. He shrugged. They're just memories. It's just the place I put things that I'm not ready to throw away, but I also don't need to see. Well, once we began packing up my apartment, I started a box of my own. America is, in many ways, its own memory box. Every state has monuments to its history. Teens at the Litaken Social Justice Seminar get to celebrate Havdalah at the Lincoln Memorial. As a child, I remember thinking that Plymouth Rock was much smaller than the story suggested. Not far from here, we can visit Montezuma's castle. And just down the road in Paradise Valley, there is a park established in memory of Senator Barry Goldwater, who lived nearby. Even our own Roth family chapel is like a memory box for this congregation, where we sit in our original pews before our stained glass windows and remember our 100-year history. In Richmond, Virginia, there's a grassy row that divides the east and westbound traffic. It's called Monument Avenue because it memorializes American historical figures, specifically several icons of the Confederacy. Or I should say it did. This past summer, the area became a hotbed for demonstrations in the name of racial justice. Some were peaceful, some were not. Some of the memorials became displays of public art, or depending on your perspective, they were defaced with intent to antagonize and erase American history. Several of the monuments, including the ones for Stonewall Jackson and Jefferson Davis, were removed over the summer, with other removals like the monument to Robert E. Lee still pending. And of course, because this is America in 2020, there are impassioned debates that argue both for and against the monuments. Some explain that these statues are monuments to ignorance, to denying responsibility, to the romanticization of a history without reckoning with the dehumanization and violence that came with it. Meanwhile, others say that these same monuments serve a purpose. Just because these men were wrong about slavery does not excuse us today from the burden of trying to understand what motivated them. Meanwhile, the city of Atlanta is maintaining most of their monuments, but adding context markers that will offer a fuller and more honest accounting of the South's history and its legacy of slavery and racism. What do we do with monuments to troubled times in our past? Do we keep them where they are? Do we destroy them? Or can we find a new way to understand them? No matter where we fall on the political spectrum, we can agree that none of us are in favor of a return to fundamentally racist Confederate values. And I think that we can all understand why a monument to someone who oppressed our ancestors is painful. This is why, as Jews, we blot out Amalek and we boo for Haman. And this is why some Jews still refuse to drive Volkswagens or patronize companies that support the Arab boycott of Israel. As Americans, we honor and understand our complicated history. And as part of an historically oppressed people, we also understand why reminders of persecution, of any persecution, are triggering. What is the best way to confront the symbols of a difficult past without aggravating old wounds? It is, in so many ways, like our own mementos. What do we do with the engagement ring when the engagement doesn't last? What do we do with old diaries, the ones that remind us of our own poor behavior? What do we do with our crosses or Christian Bibles when we choose to live our lives now as Jews? Where do we put the photos that capture old friendships? And what do we do when these mementos cause us pain? We have all fought battles, large and small. And we all build monuments to the journey. But no box is big enough to hold the whole story. And so inside of ourselves, we keep a vault to store the darker chapters. And there is where we keep our grudges and our excuses. It's where we store our addictions and our defenses. It's where we keep our secrets and our shame and our rage. This is the monument that we build to the parts of ourselves that we are not ready to throw away, but we don't need to see. Until Yom Kippur, that is. Teshuvah, repentance, opens the box. We break into the vault, and we consider the monuments we've built to the people that we used to be. Today, we look hard at all that we have held and decide, are we ready yet to let it go? None of us are without flaw. Even Moses had a problem. On more than one occasion, he loses his cool. You may remember him coming down the mountain after a 40-day visitation with the Holy One, only to find the Israelites worshiping a golden calf. And angrily, he smashes the tablets onto the ground, and they shatter to pieces. And so, God makes a second set of tablets. And Talmud teaches us that the broken tablets were placed into the ark beside the new ones. And the Israelites carried them until they reached the promised land. The broken tablets became a monument, a reminder of both the Israelite betrayal and Moses' anger. And as they walked, the broken tablets clanged like a constant retelling of the story. We carry so much. The ways that we've hurt and the ways that we've healed. We carry these mementos like broken tablets, hauling them through each new phase of our lives. Poet Roger Kamenetz imagines how they must have rumbled, clattered on the way, even carried so carefully through the wasteland. How they must have rattled around until the pieces broke into pieces, until the edges softened, crumbling into dust collected at the bottom of the ark. Do we still need to carry our broken monuments once they have turned to dust? Art historian Aaron Thompson explains, we have as humans been making monuments to glorify people and ideas since we started making art. And since we started making statues, other people have started tearing them down. In other words, the destruction of the monument is as much a part of our history as the construction is. A story. Werner Von Braun, a German aerospace engineer, worked for the Nazis designing rockets. Prisoners in the camps were used as slave labor to build his rockets, a plan that was not his design, but that he also did not protest. After the war, he surrendered to the United States. Here, he continued an esteemed career as one of NASA's preeminent minds. Among his many honors was a school in Bavaria that named themselves for him in 1979. 16 years later, students and parents began to question whether they should glorify a man who was a genius in his field and a Nazi. The school committee decided to keep the name, but to address von Braun's complicated legacy within the school curriculum. They carried the broken pieces of history next to the whole. They allowed them to clatter, allowed the students to struggle with the heavy weight of their namesake. And then, in 2012, after the truth had been honored and questioned and carried so far and so long that the edges had crumbled and the shards turned to dust, Von Braun's name was removed from the school. The explanation given was that a Nazi was no role model for the students. As we stand before the holy tribunal today, we knock on our hearts, and they open like a box of memories. We are the tattered cardboard, the forsaken monument, the locked vault that holds the past. Let's clear out what remains. Here are the movie stubs and the birthday cards. Here are the grudges and the promises. Here are the bittersweet reminders of our loss and our love and our youth and here are the darker things too. Our monuments are physical, and they are metaphorical. We can feel both shame and pride for who we were and how far we've come. On Yom Kippur, consider, which broken shards do we still need to hear clattering as we carry them? And which have we carried so long that they have become dust, ready to sweep up and cast away? We do not reach the promised land if we cherish the vaulted darkness within us. We do not reach the promised land until we are ready to sweep away the dusty remains. And once we have learned what to celebrate and what to denigrate, we no longer need to see the memories that cause us pain. On Yom Kippur, we ask ourselves, are we ready yet to let them go?
Typically on Yom Kippur morning, for our Torah reading, we invite new members of the congregation from last Rosh Hashanah until now to recite the Aliyah. We're not doing that this year. What we are doing is we're going to honor, as we did last week with Joe Luber with the Amder Award, we're honoring a member of our congregation who's not here in the room, but at home watching. Many of you know that there's been a pandemic the last 6 months, if we haven't mentioned it at all. And some of you may know that Dr. Rebecca Sonnenschein, who is the director of Maricopa County's Department of Public Health, is not only a member of Congregation Beth Israel, her brother is a member, and her sister-in-law, and her parents. In fact, her father, Harry Sonnenschein, was a member of our board of directors for many years. But Dr. Sonnenschein has been working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the last 6 months, beyond that as well. Running our little community of 3+ million people and taking care of us and watching over us and giving some excellent advice. She's an epidemiologist as well. But really, along with many of our other members, including Dr. Vassar, who's here today, Rebecca really took head on all of our questions and concerns because she wasn't busy enough regarding possibilities opening Camp Stein last spring. In fact, she and a group of doctors spent probably 8-10 hours with me and with Robin, making them nuts, really trying to find every way possible to open camp. And then also was just, while she never gives us direct advice because she can't, she's been so supportive and so amazing and so busy and such a woman of valor and such an amazing leader in our community. That we felt it was appropriate to honor Dr. Rebecca Sonnenschein with this morning's Aliyah, even remotely. And we are grateful to her. Oh, and she was planning her daughter's bat mitzvah, which is in a couple of weeks, on top of it, because she didn't have enough to do. But I'd ask the entire congregation to please join me in asking for God's blessings upon Dr. Sonnenschein, on her team, and of course her family. Thanking all of them for being such active participants in caring for our health, not only during the pandemic, but all seasons, but especially now. So the cantor will recite the blessing over the Torah. We get to read from Nitzavim on this Yom Kippur morning, and then he will do so on behalf of Dr. Sonnenschein. Everyone who'd like to follow along, we're going to be on page 266. I believe, are you beginning the...
Right from the first
beginning?
Yes, the first.
So, Atem Nitzavim Hay... Oh, this is sort of familiar. We just,
All right.
of course, read it
It's like
a few
we read
weeks
it
ago.
last week or something.
Yeah. All right, Cantor, page 266. Take us away.
And Rebecca, if you are joining us from wherever you are, please join me in your honor. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach, Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamivorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim Venatan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah. Atem nitzavim hayom kulechem lifnei Adonai Elohechem roshechem shivteichem zignechem veshotrechem kol ish Yisrael Tabechem neshechem vegerecha asher bekerev machanecha mechotei veitzecha ad shoev meimecha leovrecha bivrit Adonai Elohecha uvalato asher Adonai Elohecha koret imecha hayom. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata betocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen. Before we lift the Torah and redress the Torah, we ask for God's blessings, keeping in mind Dr. Sonnenshine's work, Dr. Vassar's work as a intensive care unit doctor, all of our physicians and nurses. We keep mindful of all of them as we ask for God's blessings for our caregivers, for the health and healing of healers. This beautiful prayer written by Rabbi Ayelet Cohen. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless all those who put themselves at risk to care for the sick, physicians and nurses and orderlies, technicians and home health aides, EMTs and pharmacists. Bless them in their coming home and bless them in their going out. Ease their fear, sustain them, source of all breath, healer of all beings. Protect them and restore their hope. Strengthen them that they may bring strength. Keep them in health that they may bring healing. Help them know again a time when they can breathe without fear. Bless the sacred work of all their hands. May this plague pass from among us speedily and in our days. Amen. And now we ask for God's blessings upon those who are in need of our prayers for healing on this holiest of holy days. If you wish to, in a moment, I'll ask for you to either say out loud the name of a loved one you would like us to pray for. You at home can say their names out loud and or write their names in the comments on the YouTube link. May God who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bring blessings for healing to our loved ones. Please feel free to say the name of a loved one, either at home or here. Kadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachamim Alehem Lachlimam L'Rafutam L'Achziakam V'Yishlach Alehem Meher Refuah Shlema Min Hashamayim Refuah Tanefesh Refuah Taguf Hashta Bagalav V'Zman Kariv V'Nomar Amen. May the Holy One of Blessing restore their health to fullness. May they have and experience a healing of mind and body and spirit to be counted upon those who are ill in Zion and Jerusalem. Together with all, let's say Amen. Cantor, are you ready to lift? Page 200, we're going to be in a second on page 290. Please stand for the Torah to be lifted and redressed, and then return to the Aron HaKodesh. 290, please stand.
Vezot HaTorah asher sa Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe. Torah, Torah, Torah,
Torah, Torah, Torah, Torah, Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. 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 Yehallelu et Shem Adonai, ki nizgav Shemo levado. Hodo al eretz b'shamayim, vayarem keret leyamo. Kehilah lechol Chassidav, Livnei Israel, Am Kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Chazikim pa betom checha meushar derachecha darchei noam bechol netivotecha shalom. Ashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva. Chadesh, Chadesh Yameinu, Chadesh Yameinu kekedem.
We are going to stay standing as we turn to the Vidui, to our confession, page 294. Hear our call, Adonai, our God, show us compassion. Accept our prayer with love and goodwill together. Take us back, Adonai. Let us come back to you. Renew our days as in the past. Hear our words, Adonai. Understand our unspoken thoughts. May the speech of our mouth and our heart's quiet prayer be acceptable to you, Adonai, our rock and our redeemer. Do not cast us away from your presence or cut us off from your Holy Spirit. Do not cast us away when we are old, as our strength diminishes. Do not forsake us. Do not forsake us, Adonai. Be not far from us, our God. With hope, Adonai, we await you. Surely you, Adonai, our God, you will answer. Let's turn to the next page and read in the middle. I want to acknowledge that this is one of those times where we stand for a long time. So lean into it. Use the back of the chair in front of you if you need to, and if you need to take a break, but also allow yourself to feel, as we've said, a little bit uncomfortable. Our God and God of all generations, may our prayers reach your presence, and when we turn to you, do not be indifferent. Adonai, we are arrogant and stubborn, claiming to be blameless and free of sin. In truth, we have stumbled and strayed. We have done wrong.
Ay, 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 Ashamnu,
Ashamnu,
dofi.
Dibarnu dofi.
Evinu.
Evinu.
Vehir shanu.
Behir shanu.
Zahanu.
Zadnu.
Chamasnu.
Chamasnu.
Tafalnu shaker.
Tafalnu shaker.
Yatznu ra.
Yatznu ra.
Kizavnu.
Kizavnu.
Latznu.
Latznu.
Mararnu.
Maranu.
Niatznu.
Niatznu.
Sararnu.
Sararnu.
Avinu.
Avinu.
Ashanu.
Ashanu.
Sararnu.
Sararnu.
Kishinu ochef.
Ishinu orem.
Rashanu.
Rashanu.
Shichatnu.
Shichatnu.
Tiavnu.
Tiavnu.
Tainu.
Tainu.
Titanu.
Titanu.
Ay, 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 ay.
Page 300.
על החטא שחטאנו לפניך באונס וברצון, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך ביודעים ובלא יודעים.
Together, the ways we have wronged you under duress and by choice, and harm we have caused in your world consciously and unconsciously.
על החטא שחטאנו לפניך בבלי דעת, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בריצת רגליים להרע.
The ways we have wronged you through our thoughtlessness and harm we have caused in your world through impulsive acts of malice.
על החטא שחטאנו לפניך בחוזק יד, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בזלזול חורים ומורים.
The ways we have wronged you by abusing our power, and harm we have caused in your world through disrespect to parents and teachers.
על החטא שחטאנו לפניך ביצר הרע, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בקשיות עורף.
The ways we have wronged you by giving in to our hostile impulses, and harm we have caused in your world through inflexibility and stubbornness.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בכחש ובכזב, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בקלות ראש.
The ways we have wronged you through lies and deceit, and harm we have caused in your world by making light of serious matters.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בשיח שפתותינו, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בצרות עין.
The ways we have wronged you in our routine conversations, and harm we have caused in your world through envy.
Let's join together.
These failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בגלוי ובסתר, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בשנאת חינם.
The ways we have wronged you openly and secretly, and harm we have caused in your world by hating without cause.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בפריקת עול, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך במאכל ובמשתה.
The ways we have wronged you by losing self-control, and harm we have caused in your world through consumption of food and drink.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בגלוי עריות, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך באימוץ הלב.
The ways we have wronged you through sexual immorality, and harm we have caused in your world by hardening our hearts.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בנשך ובמרבית, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך במשא ובמתן.
The ways we have wronged you through greed and exploitation, and harm we have caused in your world through dishonesty in business.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בחרחור הלב, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך ברכילות.
The ways we have wronged you through our innermost thoughts, and harm we have caused in your world through gossip and rumor.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בחפת שוחד, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בחילול השם.
The ways we have wronged you by offering or accepting bribes, and harm we have caused in your world by profaning your name in public.
Let's join together.
These failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement.
Amen.
You may be seated.
I'd like to share some announcements with you. First, I want to give special thanks to our member, Kathy Bain, who, along with, I guess it's a family business now, started this company called Social Straps so that we can don and doff our masks without having to worry about losing them. And we don't have to wear them over our ear when we take them off. And so Social Straps has straps for adults, straps for kids. They're very cool. And Kathy was very sweet. If you just, by the way, the temple will be ordering a whole bunch of these with our logo on it. We are CBI logo because we haven't given you enough tchotchkes yet this year. We are I think Robin is sort of the tchotchke goddess. I think so.
But go on the business
we are going to
card,
order some,
tchotchke
but if you want to order some just for yourselves, they come in different colors and you can custom them. They have clips for the kids ones. I know, like at Phoenix Country Day School, Kathy did them for all the faculty with the PCDS logo on it, which is kind of cool. You put in a code when it gets to the discount code part, or the whatever it is code part, put in Temple. We get 15%. How do you like that?
Order
anyway,
a
our
bunch of
choir's
straps.
got them. Everyone's got them. They're very cool. I like them. And then I don't have to lose a mask, which is a good thing. Please now go back to Yom Kippur Day. And I can't tell you how happy we are to be here at our synagogue. And if anyone can figure out a way to make this room seat closer to 1,000 people, maybe 1,500 people, move walls, do whatever we need to do. We'll all grab sledgehammers and be first in line for next year. This has been I've been here almost 20 years and never had high holy days except second day Rosh Hashanah, of course. It is so nice to be here. And so nice to be with our members, both at home and in person. And we're going to get to do one new thing today that's very cool. So please note that if you do have a reservation, either at home or here, for Yizkor or Ne'ilah, They'll all be live on YouTube. But if you are attending in person with your reservation that you've already made, please show up at the arrival time that you were asked to show up, not before. The participation and compliance has been amazing, and we're so, so grateful. And Robin and Kathy Brewer and our staff has put together such a wonderful system. And so it makes their life so much easier when everyone just sort of shows up when they're supposed to. So thank you. Because, Jews like to show up really early for certain things, and while we appreciate that, today not so much. So Yisker will be in this room, and that will be at 4:45 p.m. And then we're going to venture outside. Rabbi Mason Barton came up with a brilliant idea, CBI Bahutz, CBI outside. So we're going to start utilizing some of our outdoor spaces, and we'll be able to have social distancing. We're still going to require mask wearing, even though we're going to be outside, because we want to be quadruple safe. Not just double or triple, quadruple safe, which is why we're putting stinky Lysol on everything. So Ne'ilah will be outside, but that also requires a reservation, and that will be at 5:30. This afternoon at 1 p.m., everyone's got some time to have a little shluff on Yom Kippur before then. Rabbi Mason Barkin will be moderating a wonderful conversation called Can We Agree to Disagree? The Zoom link is available on the website, so just click to the High Holiday page and then go down to the 1 p.m. Yom Kippur afternoon panel discussion with CBI member George Weiss, CBI member Amy Lieberman, and Rabbi Karen Fox from LA. And Rabbi Mason Bergen, we are looking forward to your moderating the panel.
I'm looking forward to what they have to say.
This is your second panel in 2 months that you've moderated. You're a moderator. You're doing great.
I will add that to my resume.
I know you should. Well, you're not going anywhere,
I'm not
but you
going
can put it on your
anywhere.
resume if you want, but you can't
But
use the
it'll
resume.
just stay in my Dropbox.
Thank you very much. 3:30 Yom Kippur Children Family Services on Zoom. Again, the link is on the website. And once again, Yisker and Ne'ilah will be on YouTube for those of you who cannot be here in person. We're so proud this year, and you remember probably from last year, you might remember, I don't remember last year at all, I don't remember last week, let alone last year, but we are very proud to finally, although it's been sort of a soft opening, to kick off officially now our Mishpacha project, which we announced last year. That is CBI's commitment to the core Jewish value of building Jewish families. The Mishpacha Project has been not just a fund that we have started that is over $30,000 already. These will be monies, 100% of these monies will go to providing fertility assistance grants, not loans, grants, money, cash, for our members of the CBI family to fulfill their dream of having children and building families. The grant cycle has been open and will continue to be open now, and all of the application requirements, things that we won't pay for, but things that we will pay for most importantly, can all be found on our website. And we're going to be moving the Mishpacha Project link now to more of a center stage on the front page of the website, but you have to kind of go into the programs to find it now. People can request, families-to-be can request grants for expenses associated with assisted reproduction, testing, lab work, medications, and among others. And as the fund grows over the coming years, we will be, God willing, our vision is within 3 to 5 years for the committee, 5 people on the committee, and the rabbis and cantor to be standing at a baby naming or a bris for a baby that we all helped. Not directly, but don't go there. You went there. That we all helped with a family's fertility challenges, and that we all helped bring into life. And then we'll all be sitting there sobbing like babies, and we'll probably have to live stream that one, right? But anyway, we've got a wonderful committee, including a fertility specialist physician, and all kinds of great stuff that you're going to be seeing. So whenever you see Mishpacha Project, know that is CBI's program to build the Jewish community in a very direct way. Camp Daisy and Harry Stein, summer 2021. We are planning our summer now. As they say, never again should we close camp. Registration is now open for all 1st through 8th graders. We just had our meeting this last week about LTP and Ozrim and the big trip, and we will have all of the entering 10th, 11th, 12th grade programming ready for you within the next few weeks. But Everything is open for our 1st through 8th graders, and we're getting registrations, so we're very excited. Please call Jennifer Walker in the office if you have any questions. You can always call Robin, you can call Jason, call anyone. We're so excited for camp for next summer. It's going to be awesome. Our CBI youth team is excited, our youth department is excited to begin offering in-person programming for our youth and families as soon as it is safe to do so. Our fall youth calendar, including information about our upcoming socially distant dine-in movie night, woohoo, I like dine-in movies, will be available soon. As the rest of the country freezes, we get comfortable. I can't wait to be outside again. Everything is available on our website and on the CBI Facebook page, and you can always call Eric Rendelman for questions. High holidays have only begun today and last week. We have Sukkot under the stars at 5:30 on October 2nd, with some social distancing-ish schmoozing before and then services. And we'll be out in the courtyard. All of our high holiday protocols will be in effect, but we will at least be able to be outside in the courtyard with the sukkah. And I was in the walk-in fridge yesterday and saw the little love has arrived. And I'm assuming the etrog is in the box as well. I hope it is. Simchat Torah. So it's great because we get to celebrate Shabbat and Sukkot under the stars this Friday, October 2nd. And then Simchat Torah on Friday, October 9th will be at 6:15. Everything will also be online via YouTube, but you will need to make a reservation if you're going to attend. And again, we will be using all of our check-in protocols and mask protocols as well. But we'll be bachutz.
Bachutz?
Bachutz.
That means outside.
That does mean outside. Did I not say outside before? I
don't
forgot to
remember.
translate.
I just wanted to make sure.
I just assumed everyone was a fluent Hebrew speaker. You can laugh. Okay. You don't have to because it's not funny. I get that.
Just make sure when laughing that your mask covers both
Yes.
the mouth and the nose.
Unless it's more of a tee-hee. Okay. Finally, please do not forget that the CBI Cares program, which is part of the Hilton Family Welcome Home Project, will continue to dedicate the remainder of September, as you saw in the Diamond Rotunda, lots and lots of baggies with lots of goods for Interfaith Cooperative Ministries. You can still bring grocery bags. ICM picks up every other week, but you can, for our high holiday food drive, it's looking a little schwach, so please feel free. You can also bring in a grocery bag, call the front desk, someone will run out and get it from your car. You don't have to come in to the building. Please note you will be getting information, those of you at home, on how and when to return your machzorim in the next week or two. Don't bring the books back tomorrow, please. We're not prepared to receive 1,000 gray and gold books. I'm assuming we're not prepared to receive, yeah. So we will send you an email this week. We actually kind of want you to disinfect them as much as you can, maybe put them in a plastic bag. And I want to turn it over to Cantor Edinger now. We are so grateful to our choir. And of course, Jackie, it's our high anniversary together. I just thought about that. It's our 18th anniversary together. Mazel. So Cantor, please to introduce our wonderful choir and share some love. And finally, Julie, thank you again for being on the Bima with us. And we look forward to the next couple of years. You'll be the first president who gets to do 3 high holy days of services, God willing, as president.
Thank you, Rabbi Kahn. What you have all experienced this morning and over Rosh Hashanah does not even scratch the surface of the amount of work and time and dedication that this beautiful choir led by Jackie Huber has put into making these high holidays even more special than they have been before. With a wonderful gift from Marty Rosenthal and the Marty Schultz and the Schultz. I see you, Marty, and I see Marty, and I'm going back and forth. From a wonderful gift from Marty Schultz and the Schultz Family Foundation, we have been able to bring our high holiday music to all of you who are here and at home through our Shema Kolenu album. Marty is a lover of liturgical music. He has been since he arrived here with his family 5 decades ago, and his love for Jewish music has only grown over the years. So he had a vision and approached me about bringing our music to all of you during this time of COVID. And so I said, let's make a digital album that is only going to turn into our Kolenu centennial album that will feature high holiday music, Shabbat music, and a children's album. So on behalf of all of us here, Marty, thank you very, very
It's a
much.
3-volume set?
3-volume set. It's an
Wow.
anthology. So for weeks, this wonderful
Go
group
big or
of
go home,
four
Marty.
singers- Right, exactly. Have been coming and joining me at the studio to prepare this music, and we released it before Rosh Hashanah so that all of you could have musical meditations over these past 10 days. I want to thank Lisa Ann Brooks, Melanie Ohm, Ken Gutenberger, and Jeffrey Stevens for your time and dedication throughout this entire high holiday season and beyond. You have added so much, and even though you are 4, you have sounded like you were 20. And it's absolutely incredible. Though you being here is a reminder that our volunteer choir is not here. And I know that we have a sprinkling of our volunteer choir here with us. We miss you. And this Bima is not complete without you. And Leshana Haba Berushalayim, Leshana Haba'a B'CBI. Next year, may we all again be together, singing together on this Bima next year. We miss you and can't wait to see you. Another way that we have brought the High Holiday spirit to all of you was through our intergenerational virtual choir High Holiday video. And I want to thank those who spent the time to send in a video of them singing the High Holiday Nigun. I want to thank Talia Apple, Noah Apple, Linda Bandler, Eliana Black, Zachary Black, Xander Black, Emma Black, Wendy Black, Catherine Diamond, Melanie Garber, Kaya Gibbs, Donna Harris, Cameron Kornbluth, and Lindsay Kornbluth, Stephanie Leventhal, Sela Mason-Barkin, Rabbi Sarah Mason-Barkin, Talia Novak, Kayla Trevino, Antonia Ospina, Susan Sendro, of course, our professional choir, and Jackie, for all the time that you put in. It really, really helped make this season all the more warm and special, even before Rosh Hashanah even happened. I want to thank Eli Nelson for his guitar work on the album, Peter Anderhagen for his wonderful cello accompaniment, and of course, as always, every single year, 22 years at this synagogue, 18 years with Rabbi Kahn, 3 years with me, you continue to be the wind beneath our wings. Jackie Huber, we love you, and thank you for always, always, always giving the High Holidays that extra bit of soul. Thank you, love. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova. Are you singing first?
Sure. And with all of that warmth that we have given, let us join together in our concluding song, even though it's not concluding, all right? Because there is no end to the service. It continues
like a
throughout
comma.
the day. It's like a comma, exactly. Oseh Shalom, a prayer for peace. Oseh Shalom, Shalom v'imromav, uyaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Oseh Shalom, Shalom v'imromav, uyaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Uyaseh Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, amen. Everyone, Oseh Shalom, Shalom v'imromav, uyaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, amen.
For those of you who are here in person, please wait for your row to be dismissed by either Jason Bronowitz or Robin Roeder. Those of you at home, we'll see you on Zoom at 1 p.m. Most of all, may you be blessed on this journey of Teshuvah. May you keep close to God and spiritually close to one another. May your face shine with the light of forgiveness and the grace of forgiving. while together as a holy congregation, may this day of atonement bring us peace. Good Yontif. Amen.